Okay, we are in day 4 of our Theraband challenge, and today is all about abs. So what we're looking at is being able to use the Theraband for some ab work. I'm going to keep it quite simple for today because there's heaps you can do with abs, but I'm just going to do one variation sitting and one variation lying down. So your first variation for sitting, if you do struggle with getting a bit of support, then I'd suggest something like a small rolled up towel, or I'm just going to use a ball, because the exercise that we're going to do is just gently rolling back and then using the arms as a bit of a lever for our abs. Okay, so with the Theraband, we're just going to bend our knees, place the Theraband around your feet, and if you are completely happy, we just want to do a small C curve back, and you can hold your body line in that position. If you're not, then we'll do it with a bit of support instead. So Theraband is there. We want a little bit of activity in the knees. So don't want the knees to plop together. I just want the knees slightly apart. So if I come on front ways to you, as I'm rolling down, I don't want to be clamping my knees together, and I don't want to be sort of going this way. I want to keep them in that nice parallel position. And our arms are nice and tall. I'm going to start with a little bit of a biceps variation. So I'm going to take a breath in. As I breathe out, I want to curl through the lower back, and I'm going to basically just have a little bit of activity in my lower tummy to hold me in that position there. And then here, I'm going to be working through my abs, and I'm going to be holding that position. And if I want to add on some bicep curls, I can. Now in that position here, my arms are pure biceps. Here I'm using some more deltoids, and at 45 degrees or sort of 90 degrees to the floor, I'm going to be using a lot of sort of deltoid and biceps. And we're going to curl it back up. So your basic one would be breath in to prepare. As you exhale, scoop and curl through the lower tummy, lower back, roll it back and hold, and you've got the option of having a ball there for support. And then I can add in some biceps. If I wanted to have my arms crossed, I can add in some elbow rows. So I'm coming back towards some elbow rows. I could even just add in some single arms. And do opposite sides. So I can take that as if I'm curling up. And as I come down, take it to a row. Exhale. Take it to a row, inhale, exhale, return. Or I can roll it back and then do some alternating rows while I'm back there. Okay, so there's a handful of variations that you can do. A roll back to get some work through the abs, legs slightly bent to give you some support, add in some biceps, add in some rows, or add in a single arm row, and we can do that at whatever level of roll back you feel you can manage. The second one I do is just a little bit of prep as if we were doing our hundreds position. So in this one here, I'm going to use this under my head. So for those of you who normally do hundreds work, you know that you're doing it in a breath out, you curl up and your legs are here, and we're in this position, okay? And if you're a little bit sore and your neck's a problem, that position's a nice one because it allows you to have your neck up. So for the add-on with the Theraband in this position, I'm basically just going to have the Theraband over my shins, and I'm pushing through the arms here to have that support, okay? So with the Theraband, if you've gone from your leg position here, you can take it, just place it in front of your shins. Make sure you've got nothing in your lower back that's going to irritate you, like a zip or a button or something like that, and then you float down. Take a breath in, exhale, head, neck and shoulders come up, and your resistance here is with the arms. And as I'm resisting through here, head, neck and shoulders are high, or if my neck is a little bit weak and I struggle, then I can still do it here, and I'm still working my abs quite hard. And again, if you want to then take it to your traditional hundreds position, as we all know, it's breath in, breath out. So we're having the two legs up at 90 degrees. And it's inhale 2, 3, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 10. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 20. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 30. And we do all the way to 100. So there's my little tips for you for your ab work for today. I would generally still maybe finish with some stretches for your tummy, just to make sure that you're not overly sore around the abs. If you feel that you've had a little bit of a workout and you feel that your abs have gotten that little bit tight, so I would generally try and still do your stretches. But yeah, just be wary if you are going to be using these for your rollbacks, that you do have that scoop and that curl. And again, if you're looking at them for your chest lifts, that your chest lift wants to be a lift where you're tucking your rib cage under your waistband. It shouldn't be a pull and a crunch where you're really pulling on your neck and you're curling and scrunching and squashing your chest down. You want it to be a nice lift, and your eye line is about 45 degrees, not looking down here. Okay, so that is day 4 of our challenge. So day 5 tomorrow is all about the combo. It's about putting a few of those ideas together and trying to get that little bit more activity in your abs and your legs and your body, and maybe even a bit of cardio. So we'll see you same time, same place. Tomorrow, Friday, is our last day, day 5 of our challenge, and it will be combo time. Take care, hope you're enjoying it. day one of our Theraband challenge. We're running this challenge for the whole of the week, so starting today, Monday through Friday. It's going to be 1 o'clock today, as I said from our info things that we've sent out, but for the following few days it's going to be at 1:30. So if you're joining us live, welcome, and if you've signed up for our email, it will be posted to your email. I'll send a recording of the video to you. So to start with today, the plan was a little bit of info on the Clinibands, Therabands, resistance bands, whatever you choose to call them, and to give you some ideas on what you can do for flexibility. So kicking off, there is a wealth of information out there in terms of the different bands, what they look like, how they do, but the bottom end is it's a piece of rubber and it's got some stretchy resistance to it. The great thing about why we love the Therabands or the Clinibands is they literally scrunch away to nothing, so you can put that in your pocket. In terms of how they've developed over the years, the difference is just the names, so the brands that make them, how they come. When they first came out, we used to have to, so you're talking back in the 90s, we'd have to put powder on them because they would get a little bit sort of after a while, but obviously with modern materials they're a whole heap better. The one thing you do need to watch for is, just from a safety point of view, if you have a little nick or you can see that there's some wear or bubbling on some of the bands, then that's when it's time to go, because you don't want them to rib and basically tear on you. So have a look. We have had a couple of issues with ours that have had alcohol wiped on them, and we've had to throw all those out because basically it degrades the plastic, so it looks like a bubble wrap basically. There's huge bubbles everywhere, and it's really no good to use. So keep your Theraband out of the sun so that you preserve the plastic. If you keep it in sunlight, especially here in Australia where it gets quite hot, so if you leave it in your car, you are gonna struggle with it because the plastic does degrade. Keep it away from obviously hot heat if you're keeping it in the house, and then just look after it. I wouldn't be wiping it with anything alcohol, to be honest. Given our experience here, a couple of things have been used and wiped, and we've literally had to bin a few $100s worth of Clinibands, unfortunately. This length here is 2 meters. We'd quite like 2 meters. It gives it a lot more versatility. It means that if you're doing it and you're doing it for standing stuff and wrapping it around your legs, like that type of thing, it just allows you to have a lot more versatility with it. You can get 1 meter lengths here. So these are a set of 2 or 3, I think it's 3 you might get from Kmart, and they're 1 meter lengths, and I'll show you the difference when we're lying down as to how easy it is to use. Listen, it's fine, it's just obviously you've not got as much versatility if your length is longer. There are other ones that are more the power bands, so these are the thicker ones, and obviously the thinner ones are a little bit lighter, thicker ones are a little bit heavier and more resilient, and they tend to come in a bigger loop. So these are like your masses, like they've got masses of resistance to them, so they're the power bands. And then obviously you've got everything in between. So many people ask us about the colour. In terms of the colour, it really doesn't make any difference. There is no standard colour for medium, light, heavy, and what have you. The difference is literally in the brand. So you'd have to have a little look and see which is light, medium, heavy, extra heavy, and just go with that brand. So we generally have 2 different types in the studio. We have pink and we have green, and I've got the green one here. And then, like I said, this is a meter one that we've had from Kmart, and the Kmart brand is fine. It works fine. It's not one that I would keep in the studio for people to be using, but we definitely keep a few things that we get from Kmart just so people can feel the difference. Okay, so today is all about flexibility, and for your flexibility today we are going to work on legs and hips and using the Theraband or the Clinibands resistance band to give us a bit more flexibility through our legs. So if you get your band, We're going to start with the lying down, and like I said, if you've got the shorter band here, you can see that if I've got my leg here, I've got to reach quite a lot further up for it to move, and if I want to actually stretch my leg down, which is what I'm going to do, there's a lot of resistance there already. So the longer one is ideal. You can actually reach your leg up into it, and we can hold it a little bit further down. So we've got a lot more range to be able to use. In terms of how much strength, you just want a bit of a light resistance on the band itself. And we're going to start with a lift up. So if you bend your knee to your chest, so we're going to go knee to the chest, and then we just keep the tension with our hands. From here, we're going to push that leg up towards the ceiling, so we're going to get a hamstring stretch. Okay, so we're going to go knee to chest, press it up to the ceiling. Now, if your hamstrings are quite long, you might want to flex and point the toe to get a little bit more range here. So we're going to bend and press. So now we have our hamstring stretch. Going to take it into a slight turn out, so I'm going to stretch through the outer side of the leg and hold, and then we're going to take a slight turn in. So obviously if your strap was shorter, your hands are going to be a little bit higher up here. I've got the long strap, so I'm just going to keep my elbows rested on the floor. Okay, from here I'm going to take the band across my body. So I've got my strap in my left leg, so I'm going to use my left hand to counterbalance me. I'm going to place it on the side, and I'm going to take my leg towards you across my body. This is going to stretch down the outside bit of my leg here, down my ICV a little bit into my glutes. And I'm going to hold that stretch again. If I want to flex and point the toe, I can. And I'm going to take the leg back into center. At this point here, I'm going to bend my knee, change my hand so I can counterbalance again, and take my leg to the opposite side. Getting a stretch down the inside of my knee, inside of my thigh here, and same on the opposite leg, and this arm is going to counterbalance me so I don't go with the roll, or go and roll. And that's going to be my inner thigh stretch, and again if I want to I can flex and point the toe. And I'm going to bring my knee back into center. This band can help me just stretch into a figure 4 stretch, and I'm going to use my hand to just ease into a glute stretch here. And then exactly the same, I'm going to take this leg down. I'm going to swap my legs in the band so I don't have to wrap the other leg through, and straighten that leg away. So I'm now swap side, and again legs knee to chest. Flex that leg and stretch it towards the ceiling. Flex and point the toe. I'm going to bend the knee in. So if you think you want to work a little bit through this resistance here, you can definitely shorten the strap to give yourself some resistance through. And then as we did on the other leg, I'm going to turn the toe out. So I've got inner thigh and outer thigh stretching, and turn the leg in, so it's the other side of the hamstrings that's now stretching. If you really ground that leg in and keep it down, it's going to stop your pelvis from tilting. Okay, from there we're taking it across the body, so I've got my right hand, right leg, right hand on the same side is going to go away, and I'm going to take that leg across. So again, I'm going to get that little bit of a stretch through here. You might get a little bit of a burn through that outer calf if your common perineal nerve is a little bit tight and your hammies are a little bit tight. So again, flex and point that leg. I'm going to bring that leg back into center, bend the knee, swap hands, and pop that hand on the outside to help me balance while I take that leg away towards you. So now I have the inner thigh stretch, and again I can flex and point my toe. I'm going to take that leg to get my glute stretch and come across. Now I can use the hand to pull if I choose, and I'm going to pop it through so I can get hold of my inner thigh, and that's giving me a glute stretch on here. So now I've gone through all my little stretches for my legs. I'm actually going to do a little bit of work. So we're going to take the leg. Now this grounded leg, so I've gone back to my first leg. Grounded leg, I'm just going to take slightly outside the line. I'm going to use my hand. I'm going to come down and around in a circle and up and around. So we're going across the body, down and around in a circle and up and around. So depends on what you prefer. You can have a play with what hand you want the strap in. You can see I'm wiggling my hips a lot and my pelvis is moving around a lot. So I want to be nice and stable, so I keep that hip down and I keep my pelvis still. I'm going to change direction, so I'm going to take my leg around and around. Breathe out as the leg goes away. And if you feel that you need to help yourself, you can definitely use the strap on the arm to give you a little bit of support. Just don't be scrunching up through the elbows and shoulders. We're going to swap legs over now. Leg goes in the strap, other leg goes down, and then this time, same again. Legs going out and across and around the body and up. So these are your leg circles, which are going to help you get a little bit of range through the hip. So what I want you to do is, as you're moving around, is just have a feel if you've got any areas of resistance. Now obviously changing directions. Breathe out as your leg goes away. Breathe in as your leg comes in. As you get easier through the hips, you'll get a little bit more range. Your big contraindications for doing something like leg circles is obviously if you've had a new hip, you might find there's certain things you shouldn't do, and you will be told by those what they are. But these are nice ways to get some hips moving, especially because most of us spend a lot more time sitting at the moment than we used to. I'm going to take that leg in and place it down. And then just to finish, taking one knee towards my chest, second knee towards my chest, and rest. And I'm going to use my hands just to gently circle the legs around. Think about the arms doing the work for you as opposed to the legs doing the work for you. We're just getting a little bit of lubrication around the joint and around the hip at this stage. As your knees come up, it's going to gently cause your back to flatten down into the side or down into the mat. And then knees come down one at a time. Take a breath in, stretch the arms up and away, and going back to center, and relax. So I'm going to turn onto my side now to sit back up. And that's the first day of our challenge done. Just some ideas for you on how to get a bit of flexibility and mobility using the straps to get your legs moving. So some hamstring stretches, some hip range of movement, some ITB, some inner thigh, some glutes, followed by some hip circles, using the band to get some good range through. And then remember that certainly in this day and age where we're doing things where we're a lot more static and we're a lot more sitting, it makes our hips a lot stiffer and a lot more difficult to move. So we tend to find that we stand up and we feel a bit achy, or we might still be a little bit chair shaped, or certainly as we're getting older and for sort of women wise, once we're sort of over 40, 45, we're starting to hit the menopause, hip pain is one of those things that we find is quite prominent. People find their hips are a little bit more stiff, they're losing a bit of range, but also with the hormones that their hips get a little bit sore and achy too. So hopefully those were a little bit of an introduction to flexibility. Again, just with your straps, it doesn't matter what colour it is, it's really what the resistance is, and it depends very much on the brand or the make that you've got. The more resistance you need, the shorter you can hold it. The more less resistance you need, the further away you need to hold it. And then obviously when you're finished, look after your Theraband, keep it out of the heat, keep it out of direct sunlight, and it should last you. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back tomorrow. And the rest of the week, I think we've got an arms section, we've got legs and glutes section, we've got an abs section, and closing out on Friday is going to be a combo section with a mix of everything and maybe a bit of cardio to boot. So hope to see you for the whole of the week. Take care. Thanks for watching.